Duke University study featured a report on ways to conserve energy, not the type that powers our homes and cars, but the energy that runs through our bodies. This energy conservation study refers to the way activities are done to minimize muscle fatigue, joint stress, and pain, and can help anyone diagnosed with inclusion body myositis. Make sure you're a subscriber in order to help raise IBM awareness in social media. Press the notification bell to be alerted to future published IB myositis episodes. If you've been following along by watching my previous episodes, you may have already concluded that I emphasized many of the energy conservation points now concluded in the study by Duke University. The Duke University study concludes three major areas: organization, work simplification, and balancing our activities and getting our rest. These three attributes have been the pillars of many of my previous IB Myositis channel episodes, and it's good to see a major study come with some of the same conclusions. Let's break down these three major categories into small bite-sized pieces, starting with the organization category. A top subject in the organization pillar is one that I've stressed in almost every video episode, that being to plan ahead. As our IBM progresses, it becomes more and more important to prioritize and thoroughly analyze our work, choosing which steps are mandatory and eliminate all unnecessary steps. If there's a way to combine tasks, it is essential to study how the two tasks are intermingled. Changes to any task also need to be analyzed if the IBMer is still the best person to attempt that task, or if a mess created by a failure would be forthcoming, requiring caregiver action. Work simplification. Get rid of all unnecessary tasks while requesting help with questionable tasks. Figure out the simplest method to accomplish the task, hopefully from a seated position on a power chair you may be destined for. Plan your working surface at an acceptable height and have any necessary tools close at hand. Of course, you'll want to avoid doing these tasks in any temperature extremes. Balancing rest and activity. I'm guilty of not following the first one. I should be taking more frequent short rests rather than longer rests. I follow the weather report to make sure any outdoor travel is done during the cooler part of the day. My rest periods usually come on my recliner in the reclined position, and I often practice deep breathing techniques to strengthen my lung and diaphragm capacities and relaxation status. By now, most people with IBM have heard of the spoon theory written by Christine Miserandino. The idea of having enough spoons has worked its way into the vocabulary of loved ones and even people who do not suffer from IBM, but who understand that we all have a limited amount of spoons available to use each day. The original theory concluded that spoons represent our daily allotment of energy. We wake up with a handful of spoons each morning, and each activity represents an expenditure of a spoon. Once we run out of spoons, we are done for the day. Early in our IBM journey, we have an abundance of spoons. That abundance of spoons diminishes in the second stage of IBM, where we have fewer available and must budget our spoons very carefully. Everything we do lessens the number of spoons we have to use until they are replenished by a good night's sleep. When you reach as far into stage 3 as I'm in, there's so little functionality left to do anything with the number of spoons I possess every morning. The number of spoons doesn't seem as important as it did in the earlier stages. Since I came from the world of mechanical systems, I'd like to think about my IBM in terms of MTTF, or mean time to failure. When a non-repairable skeletal muscle disease like inclusion body myositis fails one time, we need to reanalyze the incident so as not to repeat itself. Our coping skills and life with IBM need to change on a constant basis so as to either eliminate the next failure or lengthen it to a more acceptable time frame. So whether you consider yourself a spoon theory advocate or a systems person just wanting to fix things to avoid the next failure, our mental preparedness and willingness to accept and implement change is vital for anyone with inclusion body myositis, and sometimes that involves accepting a higher level of mobility device like a power chair to avoid such incidents. Please don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you have not done so already, and if you want to receive notifications when a new episode is published, press the notification bell. Press the like button if you appreciate this information, and leave comments in the comments section found below your viewing screen. Cope better every day, my IBM friends.